Hi, Val. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Organization Wonder Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Kalika. I really appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, 2022. What is it going to bring?
Well, everyone who's listening, I wanted to introduce you to Val Fishbain. She is the co-founder and president of Spread the Love Foods, which she's going to tell you about. A really fantastic food company. She's self-made, self-funded, an immigrant like me as well. Both of us are Filipinos. And it's an astounding woman entrepreneur. She is a conscious food maker. She's a philanthropist, and she's really passionate about sustainability and clean eats. Her products are available at Amazon. I think it's one of the best-selling peanut butters, right, in Amazon and Walmart and globally, also at iherb.com. Is that right?
That's
and
correct.
She's self-taught, like most of us who are listening to this podcast. Welcome again, Val.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to talk to you. I haven't seen you or talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's so nice to see people surviving and thriving during these very tricky times. And maybe we can start by first introducing everyone to your story. And you can take us to when you first came up with the idea of your company, which is, I love it.
Yeah, we have a really good story. A lot of people resonate. It started out back in 2013 when my husband and I got married, and we gave away something that was true to us from the heart and from our kitchen. And they were little jars of peanut butter that were homemade. We made it in our Vitamix blender, and we just, wanted to give something to our friends and family that traveled from different places. We are so grateful for that. And so we wanted to give them something that, was delicious and something that we loved. And it was peanut butter. And from there, after our wedding, a lot of our friends and family actually started asking us, hey, can you make us some more peanut butter? And a few weeks later, we ended up making it, and under the table, people paid us. And, we said, hey, you know what? We can actually turn this into a business. And, Zach is the business guy. And so he started all the paperwork. And next thing you know, we're at the Melrose Place Farmers Market 8 years ago in January. So here we are, 8 years later. We are global, best-selling nut butters on Amazon. And our e-commerce is thriving.
So what was it about peanut butter? Whenever I think about peanut butter, it really takes me home. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We're Filipino, so we put lots of peanut butter in some of our Filipino dishes, as you know. So what was it about peanut butter that you thought this would make an amazing gift at our wedding?
So to be honest, I didn't like peanut butter back then. It was back in 2013, Zach was eating a lot of it. He's full-on American. That's his favorite food in the world. And I looked at one of his jars and I'm like, why do you like this so much? And I saw the ingredients, and it had peanuts, hydrogenated oil, salt, and sugar. And I said, you know what? I can make this simpler, and I bet you it'll taste good. And so I had just gotten a Vitamix blender, and I just blended peanuts. And it was warm, buttery, peanut butter. And he tasted it and he was like, wow, this is the best peanut butter I've ever had. And so, for us to have that reaction close to our wedding, we're like, okay, let's make something that that we really love and that we really we want to share to our family and friends. And so that was peanut butter. And after that, it's my favorite thing in the world to eat now, and it just took me kind of taking out all the extras and just, making it so simple. And now our Naked Organic Peanut Butter is a best-selling product.
Yeah, it is so delicious. You sent me a couple of jars and I live on them. Like literally, it's the first thing that I have these rosemary wasu thins that I spread peanut butter and I eat that like religiously every single morning because I need to have some food and before I take my vitamins. Like literally, it's your product. So first of all,
Oh,
thank you so much. And you have so many
of
different
course.
flavors. Maybe you can tell a little bit about how. Oh, okay, you know what? Let's go back to the story because it is
Sure,
so
sure.
amazing that here you are, like you're about to get married, you're doing something so loving, for your husband. Now everyone is buying this from you because this is really how people should start a business. They should have a customer. A lot of times when I see a lot of people, like they come up with this amazing product, but they have never sold it. And you did it,
Hmm.
in my opinion, the right way. How did that come
Oh,
out? So people just loved it? And how
people
much were they
loved it.
paying?
I mean, it took a lot of time. Actually, I skipped this part, but when we were making it for our friends and family for our wedding, we made 150 jars. I believe there were like 3-ounce jars. And it took us 2 weeks to make because the Vitamix would stop before it overheated. And I don't know if you've ever put peanuts in a blender, but it's loud and it's just, it takes a lot from the blender or the food processor. So it's very time consuming. It's also, I say it's difficult to make, even though it's just literally like peanuts. We said we're going to charge for our workload and our time. So before we started selling it, we would charge $8 for an 8-ounce jar. And now it sells for $10 for a 16-ounce jar. So we really knew what our worth since the beginning.
Yeah, and it's the best-selling thing. So definitely the marketing and the pricing works. So yeah, congratulations for knowing what your worth is. And
Thank you.
okay, so it took about 2.5 weeks for you to create that. And
Yeah.
I can just imagine you, right? But this is probably one of your life's intentions. Like you really probably want to just do it. So you kept at it.
Yeah, I've always wanted
Resilient.
to get a Vitamix blender. I mean, like was making soups. I was making I think I made like a ketchup or something. And then, I was just like making so much stuff. And I'm a very creative person, very like crafty. So instead of like crafting, I was crafting food and, something that I can feed to people. And it was so rewarding to me. And, it is my life's mission. I find that out, now. I mean, within years of doing this. And the name, it says spread the love because it came from love.
So does entrepreneurship run in your family?
It does. My mother, back in the Philippines, in Olongapo, she used to sell clothes. And that was a very long time ago before Mount Pinatubo erupted. That kind of like ruined her business. But I would watch her basically deal with customers, and she would deal with them with like such kindness. And if they didn't like the clothing that they bought or there's something wrong with it, she would, find a solution and just like really give them her time, and talk to them for as long as, as they want to talk to her until they're happy. So little did I didn't realize it then, but like I was learning a lot of like customer service skills from my mom back then. And even though she tried to get me to sell, like basically she'd ask me, oh, can you talk to that lady because I'm talking to this lady. And I was like, what, 7 or 8 years old back then. And I'm like, no, I'm too shy, I don't want to talk to that lady, I don't want to sell her clothes. But still, I was around. The fact that I was around and I was listening to her talk and I was seeing her, her love for what she did, I think it had a lot of impact in my entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's always nice to have some type of role model, but now
Hmm.
as a woman entrepreneur, you're being a role model for other people as well too. So it's so wonderful that it's in your backstory. And now let's get back to like what I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about. Like, okay, so that you're selling these bottles under the table, then what happens next, right? You get to this point, you do have these customers, right? What do you do?
Yep. Oh, they are so giddy. I mean, these customers, they're my family and friends, and they're like, oh my God, you have a really good thing here. You should sell it, at the farmer's market. And back then, the farmer's market was booming. LA County had a special license, a cottage food license for food makers to make stuff in their kitchen. This wasn't available, I don't know, maybe in 2005, but in 2014, this was readily available. A lot of people were doing it. It was fun, even though I was a social worker at the time. And I was doing this on the weekend. I would roast the peanuts on Friday night instead of going out. And the next day we would grind it. So that's Saturday. And then on Sunday, we would sell it at the farmer's market, like super fresh. And so one of the things that we would tell our customers is like, we made it literally yesterday. And so, they would sample it and it's like, oh my God, this is like truly the best peanut butter I've ever had. And back then we had a flavor. We had cayenne, cinnamon, and agave and peanuts, which is very distinct. It's sweet, it's a little spicy, and a lot of people loved it. We were known for it. They're like, oh, that's the peanut butter girl over there with this delicious spicy peanut butter. But then a lot of our customers would start asking for no spice, or, oh, I'm allergic to cinnamon. Or, like, I don't like agave. It's kind of like, I am diabetic and, So there's just like a lot of talk about asking for less ingredients. And so we introduced the pure peanut butter at that time. And it was literally just the peanuts, and it sold out. It sold out within a couple of hours because that's what people wanted, So again, I didn't realize it then, but listening to your customers, the fact that we actually had an audience there at the farmer's market that we can talk to and that we can engage with, it was gold. I loved it. And so, 6 months later, we ended our farmer's market run. I know it was short, but my husband, who's my business partner, Zach, and he's our CEO, he's brilliant. He's always thinking about how can we sell this in a larger format? Is it retail? And so we started going to a lot of stores like Erewhon. Erewhon is one of, the first stores that carried our product, and they still do carry our product. And then one of the juiceries in Larchmont Village carried our product too, but they were using it in their smoothies. And so they would put, like a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter, they would pour it into the blender, and they were just using so much of it that they asked Zach, hey, do you happen to have like a larger format of this peanut butter? Because we were just like wasting a lot of the jars. And so Zach immediately said, yes, we do. So, we had to like use the Amazon Prime, get a 2-day shipment of these 10-pound jars, buckets for our peanut butter. So we started grinding our peanut butter and, putting them in these like 10-pound buckets. And next thing you know, we were selling in a food service format for juiceries, for, ice cream shops and gyms. And so, yeah, now that is the biggest part of our business is we do food service, 15-pound buckets of peanut butter that go to Barry's Boot Camp, Salt and Straw, Freshly, and so many other big companies that we literally grow with. And we're very fortunate and, really appreciate that opportunity.
Well, first of all, starting off at Erewhon, which a lot of people are listening globally, is one of the most exclusive. It's like, I don't know, like a luxurious Whole Foods, like, right? Their mission is to provide healthy, pure, nutrition-rich foods, right? So to be able to get into Erewhon from the very beginning is like, when you said that, it just like blows my mind, because I think that, they aligned with your idea that, people should have these clean foods. But I'm really curious. So you were selling these little jars, right? 16-ounce jars, and then you went to 50 pounds. Is that right?
15 pounds.
15
So they're
pounds.
like this big. Yeah. They're like
So
too
were
big
you
for,
still
to
doing
fit the
it at
screen.
home? Were you still doing it at home at that point?
When we started the 10 pounds, when the juiceries asked us for it, we were still doing it at home. And then I believe like a few months later, again, Zach with the paperwork and the research, he looked for a manufacturing facility that would manufacture our peanut butter. And then we started. And, back then we were still very, very small. And this manufacturing facility believed in us. And it was, we had to go to Fresno so that they could see this, husband and wife that is so passionate about making peanut butter, and that, we were asking them like, trust us, we're going to make you guys money if you manufacture our peanut butter. And they did. And yeah, we're very lucky that people believed in us.
Are you still with them, or did you outgrow them?
I believe they got sold and something like that. But we're not with them anymore.
Yeah, well, that is so smart, because I know a lot of my friends who do food manufacturing, they're still doing it out of their home, because a lot of times I think the one thing, with entrepreneurs, or even us as women entrepreneurs, we like to do things ourselves, so it's nice to be able to have, a business partner to basically say, like, think bigger, let's think globally.
True. I do owe a lot of like the big picture thinking to Zach in the beginning, especially because I was still tying strings around the jars, and I'm like, I want it to look homemade, and I wanted to really like, put my hands on the jar, like. And so when he introduced the idea of like, no, we're going to go to the, manufacturing facility, I said, okay, you're going to have to convince me. And he did. He did. And it took a lot of workload from us. I mean, at one point, I was 8 months or 9 months pregnant with my second child, and I was still roasting peanuts. I think it was in the summer. And if you can imagine having this big belly and then like having a big tray of peanuts into the oven, it was the worst. And, I think at that point I was like, you know what, I'm convinced, let's just do it. And yeah, here we are now. Zach and I are still very much trying to convince each other with like what we want to do with the company as far as like big picture thinking, because sometimes it's hard, especially during the pandemic. It's like, how can you take a bigger risk when it's already like a risky place, So yeah, but we work very well together. He is our business and our sales guy and our, finances and all that. I mean, we have other people doing it with him now, and the operations, and I am the branding and marketing. And, I do give a lot of space for myself so that I can think bigger for Spread the Love and like, where else can we go? Because I don't want to just make peanut butter just to make peanut butter and just to make money. We have a bigger mission here. Our name says it. How can we spread the love in a bigger way? And one of the things that we do to spread the love is spread the love forward. And we started with giving money to homeless shelters and volunteering our time. And this is here in LA because, as you know, it's a very difficult challenge right now. And it just grew from here in LA to like Wisconsin, where Zach is from. He also wanted to give back to his community. And so we are doing scholarships for high school graduates so that they can have a little bit of money for college. And that's one of the things that, is like the result of big picture thinking for Spread the Love.
And you've expanded to granola. Tell us a little bit about your product line.
Okay, so yes, we have expanded to granola, and it is our first venture to non-spreadable, and we are super excited about it. But it's kind of uncharted territory for us because, nut butters are easy. We've been doing it for, like the past 7 years, whatever. And here comes granola, mixing different ingredients. They're still all natural and they're still very healthy ingredients. But what we didn't realize is there could be a lot of problems with like mixing oats and maple syrup and the way it absorbs the maple syrup. And, this is our second version of granola this year, and we are experiencing some challenges right now. So we've been waiting for the second version for about like 4 months now, and we haven't perfected it yet. But trust and believe, Spread the Love will do it. We will come up with the organic oat and gluten-free version of our almond butter granola. And
yeah, I was trying to buy it on your website and it was sold out. I'm just like, damn, when is it going to come? Because I love having oatmeal and putting granola, and I usually buy it from like whatever Trader Joe's or something like that. But when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, I want one of those. I'm like, it's always sold out. So I definitely I want to place an order as soon as it's back.
Yes, definitely sign up with our newsletter and our SMS. That's how, the first VIP people will get the first notification, when our granola is available. But we're definitely working on it. We're perfecting it. The packaging is eco-friendly and compostable, and, super proud of, these strides that we're making so that we can have and produce a perfect product for the public.
Yeah. But you do have jams. So that's probably what people are thinking, like, she has peanut butter, but does she also have jelly? And you do. Tell us a little bit about your jams.
So the jams, the reason why we started making jams is because I wanted to make PB&Js, and a lot of jams have pectin in them. And I'm not a professional chef. I'm a home chef, I'm a home cook. And I didn't know what pectin was. So for me, I'm like, okay, so jam, don't you just, I don't know, mix strawberries and sugar? And sure enough, that's what we did. Just raspberries and sugar, and even turn down the sugar a little bit so it could be a little healthier. And it's delicious. You don't need pectin in it because what you do is you just keep the whole fruit into the jam. And so I know that pectin is used for, as a thickening agent for jams and jellies. Jellies have less fruit, but we put the whole fruit in. So why do we even need to put the pectin? So I think a lot of this is like coming from me and from my like simple thinking of like, well, I don't know, orange juice. Don't you just squeeze like the orange and make orange juice that way? So I'm grateful that, a lot of the way I think is, I think this comes from my experience like in the Philippines, like eating food in the Philippines. It was just like, oh, you take the mango from the mango tree, right? And you start peeling it and cutting it, and that was it. It's so simple. Or you just mix, I don't know. Or you just squeeze, milk from the cows, right? I mean, I didn't do it myself, but, back then it was just like common sense. That's how you have milk. But now we have the oat milks and the almond milks, and those are not that bad too. But I make those at home because a lot of the oat milks have all these oils and, I don't know, lecithin, and I don't know, maybe I just made that up, but a lot of these ingredients are put in the nut milks when it really should be the nuts and the water. And that's how I make it at home.
Yeah, and it's delicious, and it's so great because now you can sell things in bundles. You have these gift sets and they're so beautiful. I know that you sent me one and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest packaging ever. People love it. It's such a beautiful box.
Was it the Spread the Love gift set?
Yes. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah.
And it comes with a spatula, right?
That was perfect. And, that too, again, came from like the necessity of like, oh, it's the holiday season. How can we gift our products to our friends and our family? We've given our friends and family jars here and there, but it doesn't look as, as warm and friendly when you give a jar of peanut butter. So we put it in a box, 2 jars of nut butters. One is peanut butter and one is almond cashew power butter, and then 2 jams with a PV spoon that is perfect for scraping that last bits of peanut butter from the jar. And people love it. And those are bestsellers for the holidays.
It's just the best. And I also, what I love about your butter is that you can drizzle it. It is just, the other, peanut butters that my husband buys, like, it's very tough, but yours is just so smooth and you can just pour it on cereal. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's the result of love and, double grinding it.
Yeah. Your secret.
That's the way we like it, and even though it's a new type of product, right? Even though it is peanut butter, a lot of people are used to I'm not going to mention any names, but the peanut butter that would break the bread when you spread it, right? There's just, it's so thick because there's palm oil in it that it's bound, and you don't have to mix in the oil, but it doesn't look good on strawberries, it doesn't drizzle. And so we had to kind of teach and also let our customers know that this could be your new normal, drizzling peanut butter on your bread, drizzling peanut butter on your strawberries. You don't have to, just spread it anymore. You can literally take a jar of the cashew butter and pour it into your blender so that you can make a smoothie. Don't over pour it that you're pouring the whole jar, but it's drizzleable, it's pourable. And we actually came up with that word, drizzleable.
You're so creative. You definitely you are just so amazing. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening, and I'd love for you to share some tips and tactics, maybe some lessons learned from your journey.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of tips and tricks, but for me, it's always just go for it. Sometimes I don't overplan or overthink things. Maybe that is just, the way I am built. But when, for example, for jams, I said, let's just make the jams. Let's find a manufacturer that would make this type of recipe for us where it doesn't involve pectin. Let's just make it, and we didn't have to write a whole plan on it. We just made it. And same with granola. I was already making granola at home, and I'm like, you know what? My kids love this. My husband loves this. Instead of buying a store-bought granola from another brand, I want to, have my bags of granola in my kitchen pantry. So let's just do it. And so we did. And I know sometimes it's a little risky to do that, but just do it. What's the worst that could happen? But also, I think what I'm saying is like, it should be calculated risk still, but just go for it. We all know what that means.
Yes, we do not want to wake up at 80 or 90 years old and think back on our life with regret. Like, if only wish I could have started a peanut butter company, right? Now you can just say, check, check. Okay, so there's a lot of people also who are probably wondering, it's already hard to have a relationship, potentially, right? I mean, because, there's a 50% divorce rate, but you work with your husband. What tips would you give someone who works with family members, who has a family-owned business? What type of tips would you give them?
Definitely staying in your own lane is very important. You know how I already mentioned that Zach deals with the operations and the sales, and I deal with the branding and the marketing. I tend to just kind of stay in my lane, and I don't ask him, hey, why are we doing that? Or, I mean, I do, but I tend to just be like, you know what? I trust you. I know that this is your strength. I am going to stay in my lane because this is my strength. And that sometimes is my weakness, whatever he's doing. So we've learned that early on, like when we were wedding planning, that, when it comes to flowers, let me just choose it. I mean, what does he care about the flowers? What he cared about back then was the food, So I wanted to have lechon for the wedding, which is, roasted pig. It's very popular among Filipinos to have that for your wedding. And Zach is Jewish. He doesn't stay kosher, but he had some family and friends that may be kosher. So for us, we just kind of met in the middle so that we can respect each other's culture. And so we had lechon, but we had that for the brunch the next day, not for the wedding. So, just kind of like compromising. And one more thing is date night is very, very important. Kalika, you better be doing some date night with your husband because we've been doing this for, I don't know, I would say 10 years before we were even married. Thursday is our date night day. And every Thursday, even though we're like so tired or it's raining or it's gloomy outside, we would just pick each other up and be like, hey, it's date night. We gotta go. We gotta go do something, whether it's like just to get dessert or just to, I don't know, take a walk outside with the dog. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's just me and him talking about life other than our kids or our business. And, we still talk about that stuff, but, we would ask questions like, okay, so what's your favorite show right now? Or, something that we don't know about each other, and it's an effort, but that's the effort that we chose to do for ourselves because we know that we tend to get on each other's nerves when we're working. So on date night, it's a lighter note, it's a lighter feeling, and we get to be husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend again.
Oh, that is so beautiful to have that type of framework. That's just so lovely. I'm gonna have to convince my husband to do a date night. So
you have to. It can save like marriages and just relationships. We actually got the idea from a longtime married couple.
Yeah, no, and I've interviewed Meg Hirschberg and Gary Hirschberg, who own Stonyfield Yogurt, for the podcast. They sold their business for like $400 million, down in.
Yep.
And he said the same thing too. Like, even at the times when they couldn't even afford to go on vacation, they would just go and randomly just do some type of staycation, like down the road. And he said it made such a huge difference to be able to make that time, So that is so, so wonderful. So what's next for you in 2022? Do you have any exciting plans besides granola?
There are so many products that we want to create and bring back. We used to have a cacao peanut butter, actually, and we've had customers from the beginning that have been asking us for years. And so that's something that we're looking into. We've been looking into it for the past couple years, but also a healthy version of Nutella. That's something that also, yeah. And a lot of people have been asking us, why don't you just make it so we can use it and we can buy your product? And it takes a lot of time and space. This is big picture thinking also, so you can't rush the creative.
It's so true, because right now your product, Spread the Love peanut butter, is right next to Nutella, which my kids consume in gallons full. So I am one of those people that are going to sign up for your email list. So how can people find out about you? Like, how can they connect with you?
Mostly social media, Instagram at Spread the Love. That is our handle. TikTok. We've been doing a lot of fun videos on TikTok, and this is to cater and engage with the Gen Z, because they're so fun and they have like amazing ideas, and I want to be just like them. They inspire me, and so like I'm there in that platform,
I love
also,
TikTok.
yeah. I see you
I love
and
your
your
TikToks.
reels.
You are so fun. You just go for it, and it's so creative. Like all the recipes that you have, I'm just like, you make me hungry all the freaking time. I love it. And the photography,
Well,
beautiful.
thank you. I think we inspire each other. I definitely watch all of your business reels with you pointing to the things and you dancing and singing. And I'm like, you know what? One day I will be singing and dancing too in my TikToks.
We can definitely talk about that. I loved your kari recipe. Didn't you have like a kari recipe recently? It was
Yes.
so good. I was just like,
Yes.
I love watching you eat.
Oh, well, that's so easy. It's in an instant pot. And believe it or not, I was crying about kare kare like last year because I'm like, oh my God, why is this so hard to make? Because I was making it in the stovetop. And then I realized I could just make it in my Instant Pot. I already have my Instant Pot ready. Might as well just make it there. And now I made it there and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. I can make this every week.
So incredible. And I love how you just are also filming. Like, do you have someone else filming with you, or is it just you? Like,
I have someone else filming with me, Nico. Shout out to Nico, who is our office manager and also, my partner in crime when it comes to videos. I used to shoot just myself, and that's very difficult to do. I'm sure you know. Just because like you have to turn the camera over,
yeah.
and sometimes when I put the jar in front of the camera, it doesn't read as if, it doesn't read right, It's not the mirror image. So it really helps to have someone film with me on Fridays.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, I'd love to have you back on this show. Maybe the next time we talk, we can talk about e-commerce, because you sell a lot of units on e-commerce, and I bet you probably have lots to share about digital marketing and dive deeper into your Instagram and your TikTok videos and what you see are trends coming on. But really enjoyed our conversation. You are just a joy to be with, and I'm so thrilled about you and your success. From a newlywed to a successful marriage and successful business and successful kids and yummy food. You are just so wonderful, such a wonderful human being.
Oh, thank you, Kalika. You're gonna make me cry.
Really?
I am blushing like crazy.
You're just
Thank
the
you
best,
so much.
okay?
Thank you
You're
so
just the
much.
best.
I would be happy to come back. So just let me know, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll have you, because I'm sure everyone's probably wondering, what her strategy is for Amazon, Walmart, and e-commerce online. And didn't you sell like 70,000 units or something like that? Like, you're amazing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I would have to learn from like our COO and our CFO what that sales are, but let me know and I'll learn all of that for you.
Sounds
so
good. We'll get the up-to-date numbers.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Okay, everyone. Val, why don't you just tell everyone how they can find you?
Sure. You can go to spreadthelovefoods.com, or you can go to Instagram at spreadthelove and at TikTok at spreadthelovefoods.
And they can sign up for an email newsletter?
Yes, please sign up. And you can sign up through our website, again, spreadthelovefoods.com, or our Instagram, link in bio.
Thank you so much, Val. You're just the best, okay?
Thank you. Have a good day, Kalika. Thank you so much.